Hello, yes, this is your girl, Queen of Commentary, and we are back with another video. Yes, we're going to be talking about Miss SoSo Shanel. Yes, and she's going down the road of misery lane. Yes. Okay, but before we get into it, guys, you know what to do. Thumbs up this video, subscribe if you have not already. Cut your notifications on and leave us a comment. Yeah, so if you have not been keeping up with SoSo Shanel, she and her husband were okay, like for a split second. Just to let you know, Latif has his own little photography business going on. And of course, you know, Chanel is in it, you know, it's all about her. He takes pictures just of her, and she just, you know, posts pictures of her and all of that. You know, the man can't just make a living on his own without her in the middle of every little thing he does. And so she went to Napa Valley for a little bit. I guess they both did. They got on some hot air balloons. And again, she said that she was changed, you know. Let's read it real quick. Honestly, this trip changed me. All you could hear was the flame and nothing. I have never experienced a quietness such as this in my life. I prayed to the divine. Please, you prayed to the Lord. Who is this divine? While I was up there for that type of peace and stillness would be developed and cultivated inside of me to access whenever I need. A fresh, renewed connection to him within myself. Oh, sounds great, but sounds a little witchy to me. Let's get
as far as I can get, and I don't want to lose my marriage behind it, so I'm gonna just accept this. And my whole soul was saying you can't. You gotta be willing to even let the marriage go.
Again, to those who are well acquainted with the SoSo Shanel Chronicles on here, you know that I just followed this because it's some drama. It's like a nice little soap opera. But here again, she is talking about her marriage ending and acting like she is the only one that's in control of ending it. Every 5 seconds is something different. They're in love, now they're not. They're in issues, then they're not. It's so confusing, you know? I do believe there is some reality to this, but some of it she is literally just writing as she goes. Nobody needs to be that miserable. All this money that she has, all this access that she has, all these followers that she has, she should not have to be with a man that does not make her happy. And Teeth, we all know why he's there.
I went too far to stop. I'm all in. God, take me to the bottom and teach me how to crawl my way back up.
Yeah, you can tell she's never read the Bible. She never heard of Moses. She's never heard of Job. She's never heard of David. She's never heard of Paul, who used to be Saul. Oh my gosh. She needs to read her Bible before she ever says anything like what she said, and I'm not going to even repeat it. Honey, you just don't know how life works. You don't have to ask anything like that. This sounds like the devil. Yes, here again, trying to tempt and bargain. Oh no, that's not how God works. He's not a genie. You got to put the work in. You got to put all of this flesh stuff down, all these materials and trips and all of this stuff that's going on before she can even hit the surface of how God works. You know, I pray that she gets the right thing, get the real, not this divine, the Lord. Amen. Oh my goodness, please pray for this young woman. She is really seeking for some deliverance.
Than nobody. Like, you can if you said I don't want to do that, I don't want to go through that, I don't want to cry, and I don't want to be in my car screaming, and I don't want to look at my mama dead and be cold. It's like I don't want to feel those deep. No, I'm just happy getting high every day, and I'm just happy, you know, other dudes, and I'm just happy not knowing who I am, and I'm just happy in this state of confusion because at least I'm turning up on the weekend. You sitting at home crying, and that's good.
Honey, even giving scenarios, she was itching. Remember I told you on one of the videos, every time you itch or pull your hair, that means you're lying. You know, yeah. But, yeah, see, all of these things, the death of her mother, all of the flesh and the soul ties that she's had and giving herself to many, many people has not been washed from her. Has she ever been baptized in Jesus Christ? Has she ever repented? Has she ever just let God just wash her? No. God says, judge a man by his fruits, and her fruits is nothing but misery. Her fruits is nothing but beating herself up and things like that. Honey, let it go. God says he will forgive you, but you must forgive others. Yeah, she has yet to forgive others.
And as I left there, I screamed so loudly the lyrics of so many songs. It was the most freeing release I have experienced ever. It was one other time I had a freeing experience, but it was nearly as close, and that was in my bedroom in having a day bath when my marriage was at the apex of dissension.
You know, when she said the apex of dissension, I was like, huh? What is that? Oh, this is a roller coaster. You mean the decline of your marriage? You mean the drop of it all? I don't know. It's no apex. It's no high then low. It's very confusing. You really have to listen to how she talks if you really, really want to understand the confusion that is going on here. But yeah, what's going on with her, and she repeats herself a lot, guys. She constantly tells these stories over and over again to bring in the drama, bring in the audience, you know. But you have to cover yourselves. You have to pray before you even do these videos. I know I do. You have to pray before you even go into watching them, because these words, and like the Bible says, words have life and death, and she speaks nothing but death.
I sat in a tub of hot water, and I was crying so hard, and I couldn't stop crying, and I just screamed, and my dogs were sitting on the side of the tub, and they let me just sit there and scream. They didn't even move. They didn't even turn and face me, and I just screamed.
See, this right here, you know, I'm a horror movie fan. I love suspense, but I would never want to live in it in real life. Can you imagine how her dogs feel, right? We're going to say the dogs. I'm a dog lover. Who's a dog lover in here? Let us know in the comments. But anyway, can you imagine having somebody just screaming? You know, dogs, you know, they can feel, you know, they have anxiety. I'm sure they have a lot of anxiety because they're a little overweight. And just like us, you know, anxiety will put weight on us, okay? But anyway, we're not going to get into my holistic counselor stuff. But yeah, can you imagine being in an environment with a woman who really, first of all, she needs God, the real God. Secondly, she needs to have a therapist. Social media is not your therapist. And let's not even think about her children and her husband seeing her just scream in a bath full of water. Just imagine.
My mama's name. And that triggered such a healing in me. So as I was leaving my store, headed to my other house, I said, I'm going to my other house. I'm going to the first house I ever built. I'm going to express gratitude for that the same way I've done here. Because otherwise, it's going to always be the thing he wouldn't let me have that I worked so hard for. And I'm going to always see myself as a victim of that marriage that I chose to leave. So I went to that house, and I drove by that house a few times. And I remember the path driving to that house like the back of my hand. I mean, I felt like I was driving to it like it was mine. And I got there, and I didn't even need to scream. It was just so peaceful, and somebody else was there enjoying it, and I had something now that was, you know, they say, God say, it's written, you know, God provides where God guides, and whatever you lose, God will restore it 10 times, and that happened to me. So I couldn't even take myself there to have a pity party. I took myself there to be grateful that it was a part of my loss, initiating the sequence of events for restore. And I was satisfied, and I rode around all night. I rode around all night feeling like a new a new creation. This I rode around all night feeling like a new creation. That store was, I just, if I try not to have regrets these days. I try to just learn from things, and I wish I had been able to confront some things to scale my business and leverage it better and use it to give opportunities to other people. I wish I had been able to do something with the overflow instead of it just hitting the ground until my cup was dry.
What she was really saying is she wished she had saved some of that money. She thought that money was going to flow forever. Y'all know between the year like 2020 and 2022, she and Teef were just spending, and it was mostly Chanel, okay? Yeah, because she's the breadwinner, right? Yeah. And they bought the Corvettes, and they bought the Jeep, and just buying clothes, buying, Louis Vuitton. Every time you see Teef, he got a Louis Vuitton shirt on. And yeah, that's basically what she's saying. She spent all her money. Right now she's supposed to be being a real estate agent, and she's going for that. And of course, Teef is doing his photography business. I really do think he's driving trucks again, but that's between me, you, and the doorpost. Yeah, that's a demon. That spending demon. Yeah, all of that. I wish she knew that.
My business being beneficial to other people, and I was never able to overcome that at that point. So all of that story was to say, give yourself some grace, give yourself some time, give yourself some patience. Healing really does cost what it costs.
Correction, and this is my opinion. No, getting in trouble costs. Running after money and fame and all the things of the flesh cost. Healing, the true healing in Jesus Christ, is free. Free indeed, okay? I had to say that because we all go through that. Even myself, healing, yes. Now, you may have to go through some things where you're giving up the flesh. You may have to fast. You may have to pray. You may have to read your Bible. You may have to stand firm in God's word and know that he knows. But honey, it is the most freeing thing, okay? Because when you are free, we are free indeed. See, in Jesus, he doesn't have us all bound up and full of drama and all past and pain and crying. That's just not him.
And you might not get back what it cost you, but you will get the healing. If you pay the cost, you will get the healing. It just... the material success that I experienced, I don't know that I'll ever experience that again. I don't know that.
Here again, she thinks success is money and success are things. How can anything be successful or considered successful if it could easily be lost, if it could easily be burned, if it could easily be stolen, if it could easily be vandalized? No. She was not successful. She was bought. She sold herself, sold her soul to get those things. And no, you're not going to get it back because God is working on her. Oh yeah, whether we want to be worked on or not, okay, he going to use us. Read Exodus. Read the book of Moses, which is Exodus. Okay? Read about Paul. Oh, those two men were not willing parties. But he made them because he saw something in them. So no, you're not going to get that back. And until she realizes who she really belongs to, which is God, Jesus the Christ, honey, she'll never have peace or healing. But that's just what I feel. I'm not
experiencing it now because I've detached myself from it. I work every day to detach myself from the material. But the spiritual success that I'm getting closer to, every day I have a spiritual win. And it doesn't take anything from me. It gives me the opportunity to offer myself to it. It doesn't take anything from me. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been a hell of a ride. There are things I would have done differently had I known it, but had I known it, I wouldn't have done what I did to get to who I am, what I know, and how I feel today. So I just can't allow myself to regret. I can only see it as opportunities in the event that if God takes me to a place as great with the reach that I had, if God takes me to a place as great as that ever again, I won't be leading out with my pain anymore. I'll be leading out with my healing.
One thing I know for sure is God will restore. But the thing is, I feel that she is looking for a replacement. See, in life, we have to learn the difference between replacement and restore. To replace something is to give you the exact same thing. See, she said it twice. She wants it back. She wants that success back. Restore is basically giving you something totally different, but much better. Yeah, see, you got to know the difference, okay? She wants a replacement. No. God will restore, okay? Yeah, remember she said God will replace tenfold? How is that replacing? He's going to give you something greater, but you got to do the work. You got to be patient. This is not no bargaining. This is not on your terms or on your time. It's on God's time. And until she realizes who's really in control, oh, I got to say it again, she's never going to have any healing or any evolvement.
I'll be leading out with my healing. I had to lead with my pain because that's all I had. And I'm proud of myself. I am proud of myself. Sure live. Don't let the smile fool you. It's hard work. When it comes down to doing the work, more people will quit than will finish. Excuse me. And even more people will just get to a certain point and say, this enough. I just go with this little bit of healing, that's enough. And I have gotten to that point in different setups. I got to a point like that back in March with my husband in my relationship and everything that I was feeling and going through on an emotional and mental level. I was like, this is as far as I can get, and I don't want to lose my marriage behind it, so I'm gonna just accept this. And my whole soul was saying, you can't.
You know, when I first started watching these two, Teef and Shanel, I always thought that the marriage was kind of fake. It's built on sinking sand. I mean, if you listen to her story, she left her first husband and cheated on him with Teef, and them two, got together. They were both married and got together in such a, bad way, if you will. You know what I mean? It just was not good. And then with their marriage, it was open, if you will. They dipped and dabbed all in the devil's clubs, if you will. And so she keeps saying her marriage, she wants her marriage. That is not a marriage. God does not look at their earthly marriage as a heavenly marriage, because it was built on adultery in all shapes, form, and fashions of it. And so I don't know if that marriage can ever be truly peaceful, because it's built on the devil, not on God. All unions, all marriages are not godly.
You got to be willing to even let the marriage go. You can't already set up an apartment. Moved in this apartment, he was stalking me, and at that time, I thought that stalking was the equivalent to love.
Okay, y'all, so this is the second part of that long live. She's talking about how she lived in all of her other houses and relationships, and she's giving a backstory and things like that. So this is a story time on how she got to the house that she's in now that she can barely afford. Yeah, that's basically what it is, guys. So make sure you listen closely. I'll try to come in to give my little 2 cents and things of that nature. But let's go ahead and get into it.
Had already set up an apartment. Moved in this apartment, he was stalking me, and at that time, I thought that stalking was the equivalent to love. So I moved into that house with him. They got broken into. Okay, Macy, it's fine. Macy, just go investigate it. You just gonna stand here. Macy, everybody's running to the thread. Go run. Macy, everybody running. Macy stand here like, what is it? What y'all see? I don't want to lose my spot. So anyway, Macy, get on up there. You ain't gonna do that right here. So then he's whipping it again. This is in the same year. I lost my first baby in January 1999. This is October of 1999. I go into labor and I have another stillbirth. He treated me so bad before and after that I decided I'm leaving him again. Left him that time and moved into another apartment. No, he was with my ass the first time I left and went to that apartment. And then he stalked me, and I thought that meant love. And then we moved into that house, and then the house got broken into, and he ended up being crazy. He was trying to stop selling dope, become a truck driver, and because he wasn't making the same kind of he was having a hard time adjusting, and he was really abusive. Left. Went to this other apartment, because by then I was working at the police department in Pritchard Head. This apartment, he stalked me there too. By the time he was stalking me there, that shit wasn't cute no more, because I lived on interior entry. So I would have to come up some steps and come into my apartment on the inside, not the outside. So I felt really vulnerable. So I just decided that no more. I ain't think stalking was cute no more. I ain't think that showing love and passion through aggression was cute no more. So then I ended up outside one day with this dog I had that he had got for me when we were living together. He jumps out the bushes, beat the out of me, because by now I was fighting back. So now it was a full-blown fight. It wasn't just smacking me around no more, because I'm a fight. I'm gonna give you what I got. I'm just gonna try. So now I'm on the ground getting by this dude who was in his 30s, and I was like 20, and somebody called the police. He raced off. The police come. By the time the police get there, he done went across town to Trinity Garden where his grandmama stayed at, and he was calling the police on me because I had bit him and I was doing as much fighting as I could. So now the police that was there was the guy that I met, who I ended up marrying and having my children by. I left that apartment, went to Chicago, stayed in a dorm as a 21-year-old after living in a couple of apartments and a house. Didn't work out. Came back home, stayed with my mama for a minute, got back together. I was still seeing the police officer. Married him immediately when I came back, which was like 8 months after I had met him. We moved into an apartment, immediately got pregnant, had a baby, immediately got pregnant again, had another baby. Started going back to school. Katrina hit. The post office jobs opened up. Took that job. We still in we moved in the 2-bedroom apartment, so now I'm at the next apartment. Find out I'm pregnant again. Mama tells me you need to get a house now. This is crazy. You got a good job, get a house. I've been working at the post office for every bit of 6 months. Pregnant every bit of 3 months. Getting a house built from the ground up. Moving to my house in July. Have my baby in August. Buy a pre-owned, fairly new SUV in September. Felt like the whole world had came crashing in on me from a financial standpoint. So now, I had been reverted back to my old ways when I had my first baby. I mean my last baby.
Dun, dun, dun. She said her first baby. Then she said, my last. Yeah, that's all I got to say. So, she basically saying she was cheating the whole relationship. And children that are made out of cheaters, that daddy may not match, but y'all ain't hear that from me. I'm just saying, she tells these stories like she's so proud, and she hopes that people don't really peel their ears and listen, but she just gave up the tea herself. Yes, she did. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and listen some more.
That was how I coped, being cut off completely emotionally, right? Met my husband now. Told my husband then I couldn't be with you no more. Left there, moved into an apartment. Left my house that I had built from the ground up because he told me he wasn't gonna let no his house. So I said, fine, you can have it. Didn't even fight. Moved into this apartment, stayed in that apartment till we found a nice house to rent and move into. Moved into that house, rented that house for 8 years, to then find this house after my mama died and I became SoSo. Moved into, forgive me, because I don't like to refer to SoSo as it's like some kind of negative thing. After I became SoSo, made enough money and established enough of a livelihood and a stable business for myself to move into this house. Been here ever since. So that is the history of my homes.